What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and you clicked on this right. I am reviewing Disney's The Descendants. It's actually a second look for me, which actually makes this even more sad, is that I've seen this film before, and I'm reviewing it again, because Disney's making a new Descendants movie on Disney+, so I thought, why not take a look back? Because these movies are audio described on Disney+, and I'm a blind film critic. So let's talk about the audio description, which is done by Laura Post. So, um, yeah, that's really the only reason I can think of possibly why I would have wanted to see Descendants again, is for that. So, since I'm a blind film critic and a lot of the people who watch me are blind, I'll say that I've got my purple hat on today and I'm wearing a Marvel t-shirt and I still have my sunglasses on that I wear in every video. So, I don't know what to say about Descendants. I'm obviously not the target demographic for it, so I don't think anybody cares. Uh, but I like Disney movies, but I like music theater. There's something about the music in Descendants that has always kind of grated on me. Now, the one difference is the song that they wrote for Kristen Chenoweth, which actually has like a completely different writer than the rest of the music, and you can tell because it sounds completely different than the rest of the music for the entire movie, like very different level. Um, but other than that, everything else is just kind of like I'm not excited about these songs. I, whereas like new music theater comes out all the time that's meant for whatever the current, up and coming audiences that people get excited about. And I get excited for those musicals. I get excited for Dear Evan Hansen and Be More Chill and things that are aimed at a younger audience from that perspective because those writers they're just writing better music. So I did see Descendants, and back in 2015 when it came out, because it was such this like huge thing. I saw it on a re-airing after it had already sort of become huge, and they were like, "Watch Disney's Descendants again," and I was like, "Oh, fine, whatever, I'll do it," because it predates Disney Plus, so you had to actually catch it on TV. And I caught it on TV and I watched it, so I understood what the hype was. I had a friend. I live in Orlando, down here by Disney World. I had a friend who called me and was like, "If you see any Descendants stuff at the parks, let me know, because my daughter is obsessed." I was like, "Okay." I I don't think they made stuff that quickly because I don't think every Disney Channel movie they know immediately is going to be a massive hit. But you know, obviously, eventually there was Descendants merch, but just not like right away. Um, yeah, I've seen Camp Rock. I'll admit to that, and I've seen the first two High School Musicals. So I haven't seen the third one. So and I tried to watch High School Musical this series by like the first episode is what I needed. That like I watched the first episode, I was like no, because people were like, "Oh, it's totally different," and I was like, "No, it's not." Um, so yeah, some of these things are just not my thing, and that's cool because they're supposed to be for kids anyway. So your kids might like this. Um, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about. I'm watching this before I watch the new Disney Descendants thing that's on Disney Plus, which is sort of like really trepidatious. Mainly, I'm doing this because I found out afterwards, after I reviewed the Big City Greens movie, that Big City Greens actually has audio description on Disney Plus. So I'm like, wait a minute. Well, what? You made a movie for a TV series that you make audio description for the TV series, but you didn't make audio description for the movie? Why? I need answers, Disney. I need answers. So I'm readying myself to review your Descendants film on the offside chance that it doesn't have audio description for some reason. Because I'll review it anyway, because you need to be called to task, ma'am. This Descendants film is what it is. Listen, they're based on the children of Disney heroes and villains, like princes and princesses and villains and all that kind of stuff that live in this magical world where there's some weird thing where Belle and Beast got married, and then they exiled all of the villains and put like a protective spell that exiled them to some other part of the fantasy world that doesn't exist. And they were been trapped there, just all the villains together, and they've been waiting to like break out. And of course, they've been training their kids to do the same. I think what's really funny about this, though, is that every one of these kids is one person's child. Like, they've missed the opportunity to hybrid, like, and actually explain to kids how kids are made. So, like, everybody has a direct, like, single parent household. So instead of having like an interesting like, ooh, I'm the my Jafar is my father and Cruella de Vil is my mother. What does that look like? They're just like, Cruella de Vil is my mother. Do you have a father? I don't know what that is. What is this father you speak of? So, um, anyway, the group of kids get invited to mingle with the kids of the heroes in a convoluted plot that makes really no sense, other than the fact that we need to further the story. And they sing songs and they talk about each other's feelings, and the villains are like, maybe I'm not really a villain. I don't know. I don't have to do what my mom tells me to do. It's not who I am. This is not who I am. It's not who I want to be. I'm more than this. I am more than this. And they have lots of thoughts and feelings, and they sing them all in songs. And it leads to the villains led by Kristen Chenoweth trying to take over. And then the children being like, Mom, I don't want to be you. I want to be good. Basically, anyway, this is basically, that's the film. So it launched a franchise. There are 3 Descendants films officially. There's like a 30-minute feature, according when I searched. I found there was like some 30-minute Descendants thing. I don't know what it is. Go with God. Watch it if you want. There's an animated Descendants series. So, yeah, and now we have like another thing that's coming along. So there's plenty of Descendants stuff out there for your kids if this is their thing, if this is their jive. I don't know if this is something that parents sit down and go, yes, I would love to watch this with you. However, this franchise did help launch the careers of Dove Cameron, Sophia Carson, and many others, and also Cameron Boyce, who passed away in 2020 at the age of maybe 2021 at the age of 20. Did I mix that up? I may have mixed that up. Cameron Boyce is one of the main characters in the film, and he passed away. So, these actors, I can't imagine, are coming back for whatever this Disney Plus movie is, because they've all kind of grown up and moved on. They're all doing sort of like adult things now, although I wouldn't put it past them, because Selena Gomez is doing the Wizards of Waverly Place reboot. I don't know why. She's got Oscar buzz this year for Amelia Perez, and she's on Only Murders in the Building. She doesn't really need Wizards of Waverly Place, but she just must really want to go back for it. So maybe the original cast is coming back. I just, Dove Cameron she's been in a lot of other things. She's been on Broadway, so I don't really see why she would come back to a Descendants Disney Plus sequel. Who knows? So yeah, the audio description is fine. It's actually probably better than the movie needs or deserves, but it does a really good job of fleshing out this fantastical universe, which looked really cheap when I saw it, but the costumes were on point. I kind of like the costumes in this, from what I remember from my Sighted days. I kind of liked how they came up with and shaped these villains for this sort of Disney Channel movie. It was inventive and it fit, and the whole time I remember going, why is Kristen Chenoweth in this? Like, why is she here? It's like she's so far beyond everything else that's in this cast. It's bizarre. But luckily she's really good and she chews the scenery and um just I don't know, she steals the movie for me. So when everybody's like, "You've seen Descendants?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's got Kristen Chenoweth in it. I love her. You know, Glinda. You know, I so of course I've seen this for Kristen Chenoweth. Is she in the sequels? I don't know. I hope not, but that'll probably make me want to watch the sequels for Kristen Chenoweth. Uh, yeah, her song is great. Some of the kids can sing, some of the kids are auto-tuned, which is really obnoxious. Just cast kids that can sing. Um, you know, like it's like in the first movie, Zac Efron doesn't sing, but then he sings in later movies, and you're like, wait a minute, so he could sing? Then why is he dubbed in the first movie? And for people who don't know that he's dubbed in the first High School Musical, hello, welcome. Google it. Somebody else sang for him in the first High School Musical film, but he sang in the sequels. So yes, uh, I don't really know what to do with this. Um, so I'm gonna just go shoot right down the middle with Descendants. I think probably the coolest thing, you know, I know how people feel about musicals, and they're like, well, we need more stuff during the songs, and these songs have dance breaks. So like, there are plenty of opportunities. There's one song I remember where they mentioned that the two main characters who were doing sort of like the solo lines were standing out in front, and then everyone else was standing behind them doing a choreographed dance. It didn't really describe the dance, but it did mention that they were doing a choreographed dance. So at least you kind of had an idea of what was going on. Um, is that good enough? I don't know. And does that suffice for people who are looking for lots of definition in dance, or do we need to get a lot of dance terminology in there? There really isn't like a lot of time, so I'm just mentioning the fact that a choreographed dance is going on before like they break back into verse and chorus is really, you know, sometimes all you can fit in there. Um, so this Descendants, I'm gonna give it a C. And get out of this review because I got to get ready for the Disney Plus sequel. Thank you, Disney. This is what we all needed. Um, I kept thinking to myself the other day with all the fact that all the stuff that they keep like making and regurgitating their own franchises and just doing action adaptations and more sequels and like sort of like a lack of original concepts. I'm like, Figment is really popular for a Disney character who has no movie or TV series attached to him. Like, can we maybe give a movie to Figment? Has anybody tried to do like a journey into imagination? Is there a script? Like, I mean, he's got fans. Like, he's got fans that like championed for him to be returned to his ride and everything. And I mean, Figment has been an Epcot fixture without ever having anything to support him other than a ride for years. He's on merch. Like he's he's this like creature that's a part of Disney's culture, but he doesn't have a film attached to him. Maybe it's time for a Figment movie instead of just, you know, the same old and repeating it over and over again. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I'll see you guys with this Descendants sequel, obviously, which you're chomping at the bit for, is to hear what somebody who looks like me has to say about a Descendants sequel. So, see you guys on the other side.